One of my reporters brought this article to my attention that is not only very interesting but very prophetic from the Jerusalem Online. And the title of the article is Saudi Arabian Newspaper, There is No Longer an Arab-Israeli Conflict. And the subheading says, a fascinating article has uncovered that improved the image of the Saudi royal family. It claims that the Arab-Israeli conflict has ended and now there is a conflict between Israel and Turkey and Iran, who support terrorist organizations fighting against Israel. The weakness of the Arab states and the isolation of Qatar make the present time better to achieve a comprehensive peace agreement with the Arab world. And now reading from the main body of the article, it says an international Saudi newspaper, which is the mouthpiece of the royal family based in Riyadh, declared that there is no longer an Israeli-Arab conflict but an Israeli-Turkish-Iranian conflict. The paper declares that if Israel wants to do a big deal with the Arabs, now is the time. Under the headline, there is no more Arab or Israeli-Arab conflict, the article indicates that the attacks on Israel come from Gaza, who carries out the mission of Iran with the assistance of the Muslim Brotherhood and their patrons Turkey and Qatar. Even the nature of the conflict changed, the author of the article explained. Conventional warfare, where armies of countries face enemies in the combat zone, has been replaced by asymmetrical warfare, where the army fights against guerrilla movements in the cities. The conflicts between Israel and the Arab states, led by the 1948, 1967, and 1973 wars, are no longer the reality. Israel is now fighting political movements such as Hamas and Hezbollah, not the Arab countries, and the patronage of these movements come from Iran and Turkey. Of course, they are not Arab countries. The disconnection of the Arab states and the rhetoric against Hamas in the Arab world, especially in Egypt, indicates a profound change in the perception of the conflict across the Arab world, the article stressed. The rhetoric of the current round turned Israel against Hamas, Turkey, Iran, and Qatar. The support in the Arab world for Hamas is voiced only on Twitter and other social media forums. The article stressed that Qatar, the only Arab country that supports Hamas, is isolated from the rest of the Gulf countries after Saudi Arabia and the AUE and Bahrain withdrew from their ambassadors from Doha. So what was once an Arab-Israeli conflict no longer exists. The good news is that if Israel wants to achieve a great deal with the Arabs, now is the time to do it, the Saudi newspaper declared. Arab countries are now in the worst political situation they have ever been in some time. Given the current political upheavals, they are now ready to sign a comprehensive deal with Israel. This is a very telling article and really speaks regarding how the final peace accord between Israel and many and the Antichrist will finally go down. If this article is in fact a reality, and Stratfor and many other intelligence and analysis have indicated that it may very well be, we might be seeing a peace accord along these lines. I realize that I have been indicating in the past that Iran and Syria and Turkey and a number of these other nations may have to be pulled in order to complete this peace with many that is to come. But if there's any truth to this at all, that very well may not be the case. In fact, in light of what the Bible does say, that when Russia does come down and attack Israel, that both Iran and Turkey would be in that fight. So to me it makes perfect sense that there very well may be a break from the Iranian talks and that Turkey and Iran side with Russia when everything comes down. But it looks to me that terror groups are the ones who are bringing the Islamic world or the Arab world into cohesion with Israel, whereas the terror world or the terrorist world is pulling other nations away from Israel, such as Iran and Turkey, who seem to be supporting the political terrorist groups such as Hamas and Hezbollah. So in my opinion, this article brings a lot of things to light that frankly makes a lot of biblical sense. And though I believe that terror and the terrorist groups will finally, such as ISA, will finally bring the Arab world into an agreement with Israel, but it may not include Turkey and Iran and some of the nations I had previously thought possibly might be a part of this agreement. We may be looking at the beginning stages of what will ultimately come down to a Gog and Magog war, where Russia and the two dissenting Arab nations, or should I say Islamic nations, Turkey and Iran, join them in a fight against Israel. Right now they're using proxy terrorist groups such as Hezbollah and Hamas to fight their battles, but when Russia comes into the mix, they will finally decide that this is the time that their armies will march against Israel. In other news, Hamas officials have said that this is the second and final ceasefire that they will have with Israel. And also Israel is amassing its troops along the Gazan border, so it looks like this war will continue. In fact, the Hamas senior official says that we should prepare for a long battle. And in a recent poll, Israeli citizens are overwhelmingly for Israeli troops to march on Hamas and finally retake Gaza and wipe Hamas off the face of the map. So it was originally believed that Israel would not do that, but that was before. Israeli public opinion polls showed that the public was more than willing to see this Gaza war finally bounce Hamas from the Gaza Strip. It was originally believed that once Israeli soldiers began to die and the casualty count began to grow, that the Israeli public would call for a cease on the attack on Gaza. But that fear has come and gone, and now Israel is finally ready to take on Gaza and the Hamas terrorist group and finally dispose of them once and for all. And if you did not get a chance to look at my previous report, the New York Times is reporting that if the U.S. military advisors in Iraq recommend ground troops to destroy ISA, they will take that recommendation. So we might be seeing coalition troops or just a U.S. force deployed to take out ISIS positions in the near future. Well, this is Terry Malone with the Calvary Prophecy Report.